Okay, let's do it. For a long time I've been trying to record this video and many people asking what's going on in Gaza. I hope this video will help you to understand this crazy attack that we are experiencing here in Israel, and Jews around the world and people who support Israel are left without words because I know you don't have the tools to understand, and there's a big mistake over here being made by Israel itself and by obviously all the people that lies and spread the lies against Israel. I'm sure it's going to be a little bit longer, and nothing is going to happen here on the screen except me talking. So feel free to use it as a podcast and put it on your drive somewhere and listen. So maybe you can get some information that you were willing to get for a long time. I am sure this video will lead to some more discussions and questions and things that people have asked me and wanted to know. I will start with describing, okay, so what's going on. Everyone remembers almost 2 years ago, October 7th, Hamas, the organization which controlled Gaza, invaded into Israel, broke a kind of situation of a ceasefire, although they used to shoot rockets whenever they wanted and send balloons with fire and stuff to Israel. Um, and lately, in the past 2 months, I think, a crazy propaganda against Israel, describing a chaotic situation and a famine, hunger in Gaza, kids that are starving, and all was put on Israel. And this is very disappointing because what's happening in Gaza is a war. And during war, let's be honest, it's not fun to be in Gaza. It's very unfortunate what's happening there. And it can over in every second if Hamas will give back the hostages and put his weapon down and surrender. Because Hamas will not stay there. That's something that Israel said that will happen. Israel cannot allow itself to finish the war even with a big deal, an agreement with the hostages back, while Hamas is in power. What will happen is basically just admitting we lost. We lost. They attacked. They achieved what they wanted. They killed many of us because they couldn't care less about their people, and it's been proven for many times. What's going on in Gaza since March? Basically, the agreement for there was an agreement of releasing hostages and obviously terrorist prisoners that we have that were arrested after killing people, executing terror attacks. We had to release them in exchange of hostages, and the ceasefire that was for 3 months ended. Again, because Hamas was not willing to surrender and leave Gaza and bring all the hostages back. There's no need for conditions for that. And since that, Israel went into an operation that the main one was called the Gideon's Chariots. And the idea of this operation is to slowly take parts of Gaza and clean it out of Hamas. Obviously, people would, the civilians had to move first, and big parts of the surroundings of Gaza city and the central camps were taken by the Israeli army. The Israeli army was doing something amazing and very important, since Hamas has been telling us before October 7th, and since October 7th hasn't changed his opinion that they're going to destroy us. And Gaza people never say we haven't seen a big movement of million people, of 100,000 people saying we're not with Hamas. Means that every house that Hamas was using to attack us, or could have used for Hamas to attack us, because they're using houses, and slowly these houses were exploded and destroyed. Big parts of the surroundings close to the border with Israel have been cleaned out of houses, so Israel will be safer. A lot of people are claiming that Israel is doing a genocide and again the famine and ethnic cleansing. No, Israel is protecting itself, and that's something very clear, very clear. Everything has been done to basically to create a better security for Israel. If you've been with me to the border with Gaza, you can see how close the rot is to Beit Hanun. And Beit Hanun lately had to be destroyed because there's dozens of kilometers of tunnels over there that pop up in houses, and they can come, shoot a rocket or an anti-tank missile into the rot and live. And again, they can still do that. They still have it, even after almost 2 years of war, because it's very hard to find all of that being hidden under population, under hospitals, under schools, mosques, and houses and city of Gaza. Israel was trying to put a lot of pressure. There was a lot of negotiations, and nothing happens. Basically, the negotiation is very clear, not succeeding. Witkoff is coming. He actually here in Israel today. Tomorrow is going to Gaza to see the reality. And Israel was trying to create something very smart. Basically, something that the world should have done, the UN should have done, Egypt should have done. Israel was trying to create a safe zone for the Palestinian citizens. And Israel was attacked by everyone. To do this genocide and ethnic cleansing, Israel was trying to create a safe humanitarian zone by creating, by an American company, the GHF, and they were supposed to give secured area to get supplies, but also there was an idea of creating this humanitarian city in the south part of Gaza, which has been taken by the Israeli army. The problem was that a lot of interior attack towards the government and governments from outside kind of did not allow it. The Israeli army also didn't want to deal with it. And what happens is that slowly the conditions in Gaza were very bad. In March, Israel flooded Gaza with supplies that you can calculate. This supply was good enough for 8 months. 8 months in March. We haven't got to this limit since March, and food has been poured into Gaza much more through the GHF, and these they distributed supply packages for many over millions, basically. What happens literally in Gaza is that every truck that was as a humanitarian truck that was coming into Gaza before the war and during the war and after and like now, the UN organizations, they don't tell it because they're afraid of Hamas, because some of them Hamas is working in this, basically in these foundations. They are finding their ways to Hamas. And yes, I've seen this report in the New York Times, but I don't know if you can really believe the New York Times, because after they advertised this picture of this boy that was sent through Israel to Italy because he had a disease and he was sick because he could not eat, and he looks very, very thin, and they put it as a picture from Gaza, which is horrible because he's a kid from Gaza, but he's now being treated in Italy, and he's not suffering from Israeli army or anything, not letting him food. And the New York Times put this picture, and even though they said that it was a mistake, they didn't put it out loud. So do you want to trust these people when they write that Hamas did not take? There's dozens of videos, and I can send it to you, of Hamas taking over with weapon these humanitarian aid, probably piling it up or selling it in very high prices. So for sure, poor people that don't have the money will be hungry. So whose fault is this? Israel? No, Israel allowing this humanitarian aid. Israel is fighting Hamas and keep on feeding it. The idea is that Hamas will surrender and give us our hostages. How can we do it? You can kill them. How can we kill them if they're hiding behind kids and families? Not easy. So maybe you can limit their energy. Maybe you can limit their water supply and everything, and make them want to finish this war. But it doesn't work because they steal the food from their own people. They live well, and we have evidence for Hamas leaders eating well in the tunnels. Just the Islamic Jihad just released a video of one of the hostages that you can really see doesn't eat well. So the people that are for sure hungry are the Israeli hostages. You can see it on his face. And this is horrible. This is horrible what's going on around the world. How lies are being spread around against Israel. Every time I see Piers Morgan, for example, online, and some other people, and it's all over. These people just don't understand what they're talking. They don't know history. They don't know whose fault is this. I'll tell you an example. This war could have been over if the world was focusing its propaganda against Egypt. Why? Because Egypt could allow big amount of Palestinians at the beginning of the war to run away from Gaza, to establish, and the world will put money, tons of money, to create a city, a new big city in Egypt. There's a big desert over there. And don't accept them. Don't give them. Give them food and supply and humanitarian aid and everything. Just let them get out of there. And what will happen is that Israel could fight Hamas easier, because there will be terror organization against an army, as it should be, and no civilians interrupting in the middle or being as shield for the terrorist organization. But why no one is talking about Egypt? That's a good question. Why don't you interview Egypt president that he didn't open the border? It's not Israel, it's Egypt. Israel is doing what it needs to do, defend itself. Easy. What are the limits of defending yourself? If you think that your life are not worth living, so you don't need to defend yourself. I believe, and we believe, here in Israel, that we need to drive our bicycles by the border, not being threatened by an anti-tank rocket. And it's been like that since Israel was established, and this time is over. With Gaza, we've tried the Oslo Accord, and then Israel disconnected from Gaza. There were Israeli communities, Jewish communities in Gaza. 2005, the Israeli army taking 9,000 Jews out of Gaza, thinking that the Gaza people will take and do something good with Gaza. And what happened? They let Hamas take over. They voted for Hamas. Many of them are just Hamas. They teach their kids to hate the Jews and kill them. And don't tell me about Zionists and all this, these things that people say that are completely lies. They say Jews. They don't say Zionists. They want to kill the Jews. And because, their propaganda is it's de facto, has its roots with Hitler. The Mufti, Haj Amin Hussein, he was hosted by Hitler. He learned a lot. One of the things that you can find very, very, very parallel between the Nazis and the Palestinians, Hitler wrote that the Jews don't belong to any land. This is why they become parasites. And what do you do with parasites before they're going to kill you? You have to get rid of them. This is the Hitler agenda. And the Palestinians adopted it. Palestinianism is unfortunately, for so many years, based on this agenda that the Jews are not belong here, and the Jews has no right to have a state. This is what's called from the river to the sea. When you hear that, it's against me living in my own land. And if you want to, we can get into the history, how Palestine is not even an Arab name to the land. I mean, there's no P in Arabic. It's a name that the Brits brought here. The Romans actually gave it at the beginning. But that's not, I don't want to get into the history. If you want, I can get into it. What's going on in Gaza and what's going on with the world, and why do I'm so pissed when I see these lies around. Because Israel, we feel, and I got some questions from friends here in the club, what do we feel? We feel under attack. And this attack is horrible. It's horrible. When we hear Macron is saying that he's going to recognize a Palestinian state, you're giving a prize to people that so-called uprised against Israel, and the idea of having their state next to us recognized, independent, means that they will keep on fighting, and they will use a state platform, which is stronger than what they have now, to kill us. So what are you? You're against us. And what we feel is hatred. We feel that you don't understand. Only if the world, from the beginning, from 1948, was telling the Palestinians, accept what was given to you, and if not, go away. We don't have the heart and the ears to listen to you anymore. Because you've been offered too many times, and every time you just said no, kick the Jews out of here. But the Jews are here, they belong to here. The word Jews is coming from Judea. Unfortunately, in English, you're missing the D. That's a problem. Vitamin D is missing around the world. Um, that's something that is very very annoying. Now, when you hear these lies about the famine and about that's I've had family fighting in Gaza, soldiers and all these people that blame the IDF for shooting people. If you ever try to put yourself in a soldier position, seeing a multitude that already was used by Hamas to shoot at them, you will be in a very high alert. And yes, mistakes are happening. And yes, they're being investigated. But this is a war. No one intentionally was shooting people to get into the food, and I'm not so sure that these reports are true. Hamas, we have evident drones footages that the Israeli army is guarding these supply centers, showing Hamas people shooting people because these supply centers were weakening their ability to control the people. So what do? They start shooting people, and then the rumor of people getting killed is spread, and the fault was put over Israel by this Pierce Morgan and all his friends. And all these people in the universities teaching lies and false history. And this is horrible. We have to fix it. We have to correct it. I want to invite you all to go and study, and I will offer to give you all the information I can to understand why everything they are saying is wrong and lies. And I want to get into now to something maybe the most sensitive and problematic thing is the things you see in Israel in terms of criticism to the government, I will call it. In Israel, even before October 7th, there was a big political crisis, like in many other places. And this political crisis is continuing, especially after we see that there are no results with Gaza. A lot of people that oppose to the government are keeping on and opposing to the government. I'll be honest with people. People know this about me. I'm not a big fan of Bibi Netanyahu as my prime minister. And I'll tell you what, he has done a lot. And I've heard people ask me, okay, I've heard that Bibi Netanyahu gave money to Hamas. Not exactly. He allowed the Qatari to give money to Hamas to enable the government in Gaza to not let Gaza to collapse. Now, yes, there is a case. We don't know if it's a conspiracy or not, but it's been investigated by Secret Service that he also either got stuff from the Qatari people or not. We don't know. It's called Qatargate. But this, it doesn't matter. This is interior criticism. And what's amazing is that this shame on these people that are attacking Israel and forcing me now to protect my political rivals in a way. Ben Gvir and Smotrich, have you heard these names? They're both they ran as a one party, now they split. They're both modern Orthodox in a way, and one of them, Smotrich, doesn't seem in the service to survive after the war. Ben Gvir is becoming stronger. He was always a fundamentalist, very radical. What's funny is that they as ridiculous they are, they don't know English. One of them is the Minister of Finance, one of them is the Minister of Security Interior, Ben Gvir. They don't know English, so they speak in Hebrew. And I hear people quoting them in English, and they say things that are wrong. Ben Gvir, who I disagree with him about almost everything, he never said that he wants to ethnically cleanse Gaza. He always says, in Hebrew, that he wants to encourage immigration. And that's very clear. And that's something that can help a lot to Gaza's people because they have nowhere to go back. Their houses are destroyed as a result of the war, as a result of protecting Israel. And that's something that maybe can be good for them because Gaza is not a place that will be good for living. And I think if you ask me, hopefully this war will over soon and the hostages will come back and the dead bodies will come back and Hamas will leave or will be arrested, the leaders of Hamas. And I hope the Arab world will take care of them. By the way, and then I'll finish this sentence, and then what will happen is that Gaza will get a lot of money. all the world that now is shouting will pay. And when they start paying, I hope that what will happen is that Gaza will be rebuilt without Hamas, and the people will have either to where to come back or to develop a new Gaza. If you want to blame people instead of Israel, blame the Egyptians, blame the Arab countries. Why aren't you pushing Qatar to arrest Hamas leaders? These leaders are giving directions to. I mean, that's ridiculous to attack Israel. If you hear someone attacking Israel and not saying anything against Hamas leaders in Qatar, you are seeing an anti-Semitic. A person who wants to hate Israel, who does not understand the sensitive situation, who, by the way, never been here, for sure, and is being wrong almost about everything. If we arrested Qatar, if America would put Qatar under pressure to arrest Hamas leaders in the five-star hotels where they're hosted, Khalil Lakhia, Khalid Mash'al, and others, they're all hosted in Qatar and giving orders in Gaza. They're killing their own people. Why aren't we arresting them and stopping them or killing them? I don't know. Why there's no pressure on them? Why there's no pressure again on the Egyptians to open the border? Why no one is sending boats to save Gaza, not to come in, to let people go out? And again, I know that no one wants to, the Gaza people, no one, this is a joke among Israeli supporters. I don't trust it, I don't believe it. I believe that the moment we will let the Palestinians leave if they want, people will find a way to host them. And again, if there was less population or almost no population over there was Hamas only, it was much easier to fight. Because there was not criticism, and Israel could fight against terrorists and not have to every soldier has to ask himself if he's shooting a child or someone who's not involved. By the way, I've been a soldier. I was in the army. My service was for 3 years, and then I've been in the reserve. And even this war, I was guarding. Some of you knows that. I've seen it. I've seen this population that has hatred towards my family. And I can tell you, even if you hear that kids are being killed, I want to share with you the story. Some of you know it. In 2003, we were getting information about a girl that she was 17 years old, which means a child. In the papers, she had a bomb in a vest ready to be wear and go out from her home to explode in a bus the next day in Israel. And we got information. We got to their house and we found her, and we found the bomb under the bed. We were nice with the family to take the bomb out and explode it in the fields, not in the house, so the house survived. We were nice to bring a female soldier with us to touch the female terrorists, so we will respect her. And that's something people don't understand. She was wanting to kill us, and we respect her. That's crazy. And it's happening on and on in Gaza. Now, a lot of this criticism will come and say they had no other choice. Israel put them a blockade. No, Gaza was thriving before October 7th. Yes, a lot of lies came before. We were lied that Gaza is a horrible place, but apparently, and the soldiers that went in said it's unbelievable how we imagine Gaza and what we found over there. A lot of money, a lot of yeah, there was poverty obviously, but there was a lot of options. And again, everything can be solved. Stop trying to kill us, and stop educate the world and tell everyone that we took your land. I'll make a video about it. About the fact that we never took no one's land. By the way, they started the conflict. And if you don't know about April 1920, how 7 Jews were killed by a Muslim mob in Jerusalem and others were killed in other parts of the country, this is the beginning of October 7th. This is the beginning of violent act of Muslim population against Jewish one. And the Jews always reacted by building defense forces. And in this time, Israel changed the thinking. No more only defense because the world doesn't want us to hurt people. Israel is changing and trying to create an end to this conflict by kicking out all the people who want to kill us. Because if you have intentions, you will do it. If you don't have the weapon right now, you will try to get it. What do you do with these people? No, you don't kill them. Obviously, you have to arrest them or to show them the way out. And this is the I think that's what Israel is trying to do now to show the way to Hamas go out of here. If Qatar wants to host them, por favor. They have enough money to stay in nice 5 hotels. I'm sure the Mossad will find a way to say goodbye and help them to meet the 72 virgins, at least to the leaders that are responsible for October 7th. I want to invite you all. I know it's kind of like talking and talking because I'm talking from my guts, but I think I have a lot to share. And I do want to share with you more and more. Whoever wants to ask questions obviously knows that you get answers privately. I'm coming to the States in September. I will promote it more and more. We'll spread the way of helping and support the flights and everything. And we will try and break this conflict into subjects and help people to understand the truth better. And if you need more help because you feel like you are getting weakened by attacks, write me. I'm available, and we can discuss and talk. And if there's anything you want to know about Israel, you want to see in Israel, I'm here for you. Thank you for watching. It's not everything, but this is a little bit of what I can tell you. And I'm telling you, these people are lying. All these people, and not because I'm just Israeli. And again, there's so much to tell about the interior politics. And it's very sad how Israelis are eating this propaganda as well. And again, to be honest, I'm not happy with the fact that we're not getting to an end to this war. But from here to attack Israel, I can criticize my government. But from here to attack Israel, I think there's a far distance, and I'm not doing it, attacking my country. I may criticize my government, but that's something that is very, very sensitive, and it's hard to do when you're outside. And again, listening to some lunatics in the government is not helping. Look at the things we do. No one is purposely killing people. No one is purposely shooting people, and no one is purposely creating a famine. Yes, there was a limitation over the supplies, but there was enough supply not to create a famine. Up until now. By the way, now hundreds of trucks pouring into Gaza. There's so much supply over there. Which can be, by the way, a good thing because Hamas is not even managing to take everything over, and there's a lot of spillover to the people, eventually, and obviously they will have enough. And there's pictures from the markets in Gaza with fresh mangoes and fruits and stuff, quality that we don't even have here sometimes. So it's for sure getting better, and Israel was put in a lot of pressure. But this, again, gives a lot of strength to Hamas. As a matter of fact, look, they are not willing to go into a ceasefire, which Israel went far and beyond with terrorists that we were willing to release, withdrawing with some parts from some parts. But you have to understand, as long as they're there, we cannot trust them. Like we could not trust them before October 7th, and we did. Now we can't. I mean, again, think about the post-trauma. We can't let them stay there, and we will still have them looking at us from a kilometer or two inside. This is why the perimeter is super important for Israel to control, which means like 1 or 2 kilometers into Gaza that the army is controlling. There's no civilians. This will be a must for Israel to control until a trust will come again. You want to talk about trust? We will talk about it at a different time. And if you want to talk about solutions, I have them. Contact me. Thank you for watching. Again, sorry, and there's a lot to share.